The alien forest was alive with strange colors and sounds, the glowing plants swaying softly in the evening wind. The child ran ahead, small green fingers brushing against the luminous leaves, calling back to her mother. "Mom, wait for me." Her mother, tall and elegant with silver blue skin and long, delicate limbs, moved carefully, feeling the uneven ground beneath her feet. "I'm coming, my little one," she replied, her voice gentle but tired. A sudden groan escaped her lips as she stepped on something sharp, her foot pressing down into a hidden hole. Her eyes widened in pain as she looked down, seeing jagged spikes concealed beneath the forest floor. "My foot hurts," she cried, trying to lift herself, but the trap held her firmly, digging into her skin with cruel precision. The child froze in fear, small tears streaming down her glowing cheeks. Mom, don't cry," she screamed, hopping closer but unable to reach her mother. The ground around them was eerily quiet, as if the forest itself was holding its breath, waiting for the next moment of danger. The human arrived at that moment, a figure moving cautiously between the towering alien trees, his eyes wide with shock as he saw the trapped mother. "Is she hurt?" he whispered, stepping closer but wary of the unknown forest dangers. The child noticed him and shouted, "Human, please help! My mom is stuck!" Her voice echoed through the glowing trees. Trembling with fear and hope, the human nodded quickly, trying to understand the situation. He knelt beside the mother, carefully examining the strange trap that held her foot. I think I can get her out, but it might hurt a little," he said softly, trying to calm both the child and the alien mother. The mother winced, her eyes fixed on the human, uncertain but trusting him in desperation. "Do what you can, please. My child depends on me," she whispered, her voice shaking. The forest around them seemed suddenly darker, shadows stretching between the tall, glowing plants. Strange noises rustled in the underbrush, sharp and threatening as if predators were watching. The human took a deep breath and grabbed a branch from a nearby tree, carefully prying at the spikes. Each movement made the mother hiss in pain, and the child clutched at the human's arm, her small hands trembling. Please hurry," she cried, her voice breaking as the spikes slowly loosened. A loud snapping noise echoed from deeper in the forest, causing all three to freeze. The human's heart pounded as he glanced toward the sound, glowing eyes reflecting from the shadows. Something was moving toward them, fast and dangerous. The mother's breathing grew heavier, and the child hugged her tightly, holding back sobs. "Stay calm. I will protect you," the human whispered. Though his own fear was rising, the spikes finally gave way, and the mother pulled her foot free, blood staining the soft forest floor. She stumbled backward, leaning on the human for support. Thank you," she gasped, trying to hide her pain from the child. But the danger was not over. The noises in the shadows grew closer, scraping and hissing. The child's wide eyes darted around. "Mom, what is that?" she asked, trembling. The human glanced around, assessing the alien forest. "We need to move quickly. Whatever is out there will find us if we stay," he said, helping the mother to stand. Her foot was bleeding, but she nodded, determined not to show weakness in front of her child. "Lead the way," she said, gripping the human's arm, trusting him to guide them to safety. As they began to move cautiously through the forest, the shadows seemed to shift around them, whispering in strange alien sounds. Every rustle of leaves, every snapping twig made their hearts race. The child clung tightly to her mother, stepping carefully on the glowing moss. Her small voice whispered prayers to beings she didn't fully understand. Hoping for protection, the human senses were alert, scanning the darkness, ready to face any threat that might emerge. Suddenly, a large shadow lunged from the trees, its form unfamiliar and frightening. The human pushed the mother out of the way, taking the brunt of the attack. The child screamed, holding her mother's hand tightly as the shadow disappeared back into the darkness. The human looked at them with determination. "We have to keep going. We are not safe yet," he said, his voice firm. The mother nodded, her eyes filled with both fear and trust. "Thank you for saving us," she whispered, leaning on him, while the child continued to cry softly, clinging to both of them. The forest seemed endless, dark and dangerous, but hope glimmered in the human's eyes. He knew that if he could keep them alive tonight, a bond stronger than any trap or predator would form. And so, under the glowing alien canopy, with danger lurking in every shadow, the human, the alien mother and her child moved forward, each step heavy with suspense and fear. But together they carried hope, determination, and the promise that kindness and courage could shine even in the darkest places. The alien mother limped forward, her foot throbbing painfully with every step. The child stayed close, tiny hands gripping her mother's glowing arm. "Mom, are you okay?" she asked, worry shining in her wide eyes. The human glanced back at them, scanning the forest for any further danger. "We need to keep moving." Slowly but steadily, he said, his voice calm but tense. The forest floor was uneven, filled with hidden roots and glowing plants that sometimes shifted underfoot. The human carefully guided the mother around sharp rocks and unstable ground. Helping her keep balance, each step was a challenge, as her alien physiology was different from anything he had seen. Bones and muscles moved in unfamiliar ways, making it hard to predict her movements. He hesitated at one point, unsure if his help would hurt her, but the child's pleading eyes encouraged him to continue. A soft whimper escaped from the child as a branch cracked nearby, sending shadows dancing across the glowing moss. "Stay close," the human whispered, his body tense and ready for any attack. The mother clutched his arm for support, grateful for his steady presence, but the pain in her foot made each movement slow and careful. Her child mirrored her cautious steps, taking tiny, hesitant movements across the alien forest. Suddenly, the child tripped over a hidden root and fell, scraping her knee against the glowing ground. She let out a small cry, and her mother quickly bent down to help. Ignoring her own pain, "It's okay. It's okay, my little one," she murmured, brushing the dirt from her child's knee. The human quickly checked for predators, his heart racing, but the forest remained still for a moment, as if holding its breath. "Human, what is that thing?" the child asked, pointing at a strange glowing vine that twitched unnaturally in the shadows. The human examined it carefully, noticing sharp tendrils that could pierce skin if touched. "We need to go around it," he said, leading them along a safer path. Each step felt like a small victory, but danger still lingered. The mother winced, hobbling slightly as the wound on her foot throbbed. "I can't walk fast," she admitted, her voice soft and tired. The human knelt beside her, studying the injury, trying to figure out a way to help. "Maybe we can find something to support you. A stick or some kind of brace," he said, searching the glowing forest floor. Small rocks and branches littered the ground, but none seemed strong enough to hold her weight. The child watched anxiously, biting her lip as fear mixed with hope. A rustling noise from behind made them all freeze, eyes widening. They turned to see a small predator moving quickly between the trees, its glowing eyes fixed on them, body low and tense, ready to strike. The human stepped forward, positioning himself between the predator and the alien mother. "Back! Go back," he shouted, waving his arms. The creature hesitated, unsure, but then darted away into the darkness, leaving them trembling but safe for the moment. The mother took a deep breath, leaning heavily on the human's arm. "Thank you. I don't know what we would have done without you," she whispered, pain and gratitude mixing in her voice. The child squeezed her mother's hand tightly. "Please don't let anything hurt us again," she said, her small voice determined. The human nodded. "I won't. I promise," he said, though he knew the forest was far from safe. As they continued, the child noticed strange glowing insects hovering around a nearby clearing, their light illuminating the way ahead. "Maybe we can rest there for a while," the human suggested, pointing toward the clearing. The mother nodded, her tired eyes looking at the child. "Yes, just a little rest," she agreed, limping toward the glowing spot. The forest seemed calmer here, as if the light from the insects kept danger at bay. The child ran ahead a few steps, exploring the glowing clearing while her mother rested on a soft patch of moss. The human knelt beside her, watching carefully, learning more about this alien environment. He noticed how the glowing insects reacted to their presence, their movements delicate and strangely comforting. For a moment, the forest didn't feel threatening, but he knew the danger was never far. The mother sighed, closing her eyes briefly, pain and exhaustion showing on her face. "I never thought we would face something like this," she said quietly. "But you saved us." The human gave a small smile. "We saved each other," he said, glancing at the child who was carefully exploring nearby. Every small movement, every careful step, was a lesson in trust and understanding. They were learning to rely on one another, bridging the gap between human and alien through courage and care. The child ran back to her mother, holding a small glowing leaf she had found. "Look, Mom, maybe this can help heal your foot," she said, eyes shining with hope. The mother looked at the leaf, then at the human, a small smile forming despite the pain. "Perhaps we can try," she said, and the human nodded, ready to do whatever it took to help them survive. The bond between them was growing stronger with every step, every moment of danger and every act of care, and so, in the glowing alien forest with shadows lurking and danger around every corner, the human, the alien mother, and her child moved forward together. Each step a mixture of fear, hope, and courage. The forest was not safe, but they had begun a journey of trust, protection, and the promise that even in the strangest and most dangerous worlds, kindness and bravery could form the strongest bonds. The alien mother sat on a soft patch of glowing moss, her silver blue skin shimmering faintly under the forest light. Her foot throbbed with pain and she winced as she tried to move it slightly. The child crouched beside her, gently touching her mother's injured foot. "Mom, it hurts so much," the child whispered, worry filling her small voice. The human knelt opposite them, observing the strange structure of her foot. His brow furrowed in concentration. "I need to understand how your foot works," he said slowly, careful with his words. "So I can help you?" The mother nodded weakly, her eyes tired but trusting. "Please, do whatever you can," she murmured, leaning on the moss for support. The child looked at the human with wide eyes, a mixture of hope and fear. "Can you fix her, human?" she asked, her tiny hands brushing the glowing moss nervously. The human reached out, gently touching her foot, noticing the delicate layers of skin and muscle that moved differently from anything he had ever seen. "It's very different from humans," he admitted, "but I think I can make it better." The mother looked at him, trying to hide the pain, but wincing slightly as he moved her toes carefully. "I trust you." "Please be careful," she said, her voice trembling. The child whispered to her mother, "You will be okay, Mom. He is helping us," and squeezed her mother's hand, trying to offer courage. The human took a small strip of glowing plant fiber he had gathered from nearby, testing its flexibility and strength. "We might be able to make a temporary splint," he said, tying it carefully around her foot, ensuring it did not hurt further. The mother gritted her teeth as he worked, her eyes watering slightly, but she remained still, knowing any sudden movement could worsen the injury. As he worked, the child asked softly, "Human, why are you helping us? You don't even know us." The human paused for a moment, glancing at the small alien eyes filled with innocence and trust. "Because you needed help," he said simply, "and I couldn't just leave you." The child nodded slowly, understanding in her own way, her small hand resting on his arm, a silent connection forming between them. The forest around them was quiet, the glowing insects hovering gently, their light reflecting in the human's eyes. The mother spoke softly, "Your touch. It is strange but comforting," she said, watching him work with careful attention. He nodded. "I want you to heal, so we can all move safely." Every small motion of his hands, every adjustment of the plant fiber showed patience and care. The child whispered encouragements, her voice small but brave. "You can do it. Don't give up." The human carefully lifted her foot, adjusting the splint and checking the alignment of the bones. He noticed subtle differences in their alien anatomy, a small shift that required precision and thought. "Almost done," he said, steadying his hands as he tightened the last fiber. The mother exhaled slowly, relief mixing with lingering pain. "I think it will help," she whispered, testing the foot gently, finding it more stable than before. The child clapped her hands softly. "Mom, you can walk now."
"A little,"
she exclaimed, eyes sparkling with hope. The mother smiled faintly, leaning on both the human and her child for support. Each step was careful but easier than before. Her trust in the human grew, not just for his skill, but for his courage and patience. The human's heart felt heavy with responsibility, but also filled with a strange warmth, a connection beyond words. Suddenly, a distant noise made them all freeze. Leaves rustled and shadows flickered in the distance. The human scanned the area, ready for any danger. The mother steadied herself, gripping both the child and the human. "Are they following us?" she asked quietly, her voice laced with concern. The human shook his head slowly. "I don't think so. But we must be careful." Every small movement of the forest seemed amplified in the quiet night. The child whispered to the human, "Thank you for not leaving us alone." Her small voice was filled with trust, innocence, and a growing bond that had started to form between species. The human smiled faintly. "You're welcome. We'll stay together," he said, as protective as ever. The mother watched them, eyes softening. "I never imagined a human could care so deeply. Thank you," she said, her voice filled with genuine gratitude. As the three of them prepared to move again, the human helped the mother stand fully, supporting her with steady arms. The child held tightly to her mother's other hand, walking slowly but confidently beside them. The forest was dark and full of unknown threats, but for the first time, there was a sense of understanding and trust between them. Each step was more than survival. It was connection, patience, and courage, and so, under the glowing alien canopy, with danger still present but hope growing, the human, the alien mother, and her child moved forward together. Each moment of pain became a lesson, each act of care a bond, and each step a promise that in the darkest and most unfamiliar worlds, trust and understanding could shine brighter than any fear. The alien forest had grown darker as the human, the mother, and the child moved carefully between towering, glowing trees. Each step made the moss crunch softly underfoot. Echoing unnervingly in the stillness, the mother's foot was still weak, and she leaned heavily on the human for support. The child ran slightly ahead, curiosity battling with fear as she peeked into the shadows. Suddenly, a low rustling sound came from behind a cluster of twisting vines. The human froze, his eyes scanning the darkness, muscles tensed for any sudden movement. "Stay close and quiet," he whispered, his voice firm but steady. The mother gripped his arm tightly, and the child clutched at her mother's other hand. Their small forms huddled together, ready for whatever might emerge. Out of the shadows, a dark shape darted, its glowing eyes reflecting the dim light of the forest. It was larger than any animal they had seen before, its long limbs moving with a predator's grace. The child gasped, clinging to her mother. "Mom, what is that?" she whispered, voice trembling. The human stepped slightly forward, placing himself between the predator and the family. "I don't know, but we have to be ready," he said, eyes sharp. The predator circled, testing them, its body low and dangerous. The mother took a cautious step back, but the human held her firmly. "We will not run. Stay calm," he whispered, knowing any sudden movement could trigger an attack. The child squeezed her mother's hand, looking to the human for reassurance, and seeing it, she slowly nodded, trying to stay brave. The shadow lunged suddenly, faster than expected, and the human acted quickly, pushing the mother aside while grabbing a sturdy branch from the ground. He swung it with force, narrowly deflecting the creature's attack. The child screamed, hiding behind her mother. "Human, be careful," she shouted, heart pounding. The predator hissed, retreating for a moment but circling them again, calculating its next strike. The mother found her voice despite the pain. "We cannot let it separate us. We must stay together," she said firmly, her eyes blazing with determination. The human nodded, using his weight and strength to shield them both, swinging the branch again when the predator approached. Each clash of branch against claws echoed through the alien forest, tension gripping every heartbeat. The child peeked out from behind her mother, noticing glowing vines that could be used to their advantage. "Mom. Human. Maybe we can trap it," she whispered urgently, pointing at the twisting plants. The human's eyes followed her gesture, realizing the idea had merit. "Good thinking. Stay calm and help me," he said, guiding the mother to steady herself. While the predator lunged again, he carefully manipulated the vines. Looping them around the creature's limbs, the predator struggled, hissing and snapping as the glowing vines held it temporarily, giving them a brief chance to move. The mother limped forward, supported by the human, dragging the child along with her. Each step was tense, their breathing loud in the quiet forest. The vines could only hold the creature for so long, but every second they gained was vital. They reached a small clearing bathed in soft alien light. Safer for a moment, the child leaned against her mother, panting and shaking. Did we make it?" she asked, her voice small, trembling between fear and relief. The mother looked at the human, gratitude and awe in her eyes. You protected us," she said softly, still holding tightly to the human's arm. The human nodded, eyes scanning the surrounding shadows for more threats. "We need to rest, but stay alert," he said, setting the mother down gently on the soft moss. The child knelt beside her, brushing imaginary dust from her mother's shoulders. Trying to make her feel safe, the forest seemed quieter, but the human knew it was only temporary. Predators could return at any moment. While they caught their breath, the mother spoke, her voice trembling but strong. "I have never seen such courage from a human. Thank you for standing between my child and danger." The human shrugged slightly, hiding his pride. "I would do the same for anyone in need," he said simply, glancing at the child whose small eyes watched him with trust. The child reached for a glowing plant and handed it to her mother. "Here, maybe this can help your foot more," she said, hope shining through her fear. The mother accepted it with a faint smile, gently pressing it against the wound. The human watched, feeling a strange warmth inside, the connection between them growing stronger with each act of care, protection, and trust. Just as relief began to settle, a distant growl reminded them that danger had not passed completely. The human helped the mother to her feet again, supporting her carefully. "We keep moving. Together," he said firmly, guiding both mother and child deeper into the forest. Shadows twisted around them, and the glow of the plants offered only partial comfort. But their courage held firm. Together they moved as one, ready to face whatever the alien forest might throw at them next. Each step, each heartbeat, each careful movement strengthened their bond. The human, the alien mother, and her child were no longer just strangers brought together by chance. They were a team, united by survival, trust, and the courage to face the shadows of a savage world. The alien mother leaned against a glowing tree, her foot wrapped in the makeshift splint, each step still sending sharp pain through her slender limbs. The child knelt beside her, examining the wound with small, careful fingers. "Mom, it looks a little better today," she whispered, her voice filled with hope and pride. The human watched closely, studying the mother's movements and the alien biology that was still a mystery to him. "We need to make it stronger," he said, scanning the forest floor for anything useful. His eyes fell on a cluster of glowing, flexible vines that pulsed gently in rhythm with the alien forest. "These might help hold the splint better," he explained, cutting and weaving them carefully around the mother's foot. The mother winced slightly as he worked, but she trusted him completely, leaning on the child for support. The child handed him small glowing leaves, placing them one by one over the injury. "Will this help you heal faster, Mom?" she asked, her eyes wide with concern. The mother smiled faintly. "Yes, every little thing helps," she replied, glancing at the human with gratitude. Her trust in him had grown since the day he had rescued them from the trap, and now, even in pain, she felt safe with him. The human adjusted the vines, creating a delicate but strong support, noticing how the alien tissue responded to the pressure. "Alien bones are different. They bend more than human ones, but they can also heal faster if we take care," he said, explaining softly. The child listened intently, fascinated by the differences between her mother and the human. "So, you're learning about us too?" she asked, her curiosity overcoming her fear. "Yes," the human replied, tying the last vine carefully. "I have to learn, so I can help you properly." The mother looked at him, eyes softening. "You have learned more than I could have expected," she said quietly, her voice filled with both relief and admiration. The child smiled, squeezing her mother's hand. "We are lucky. You came to help us," she said, pride and trust shining in her eyes. The human noticed soft glowing moss nearby that had gentle cooling properties, and he carefully pressed it against the mother's injured foot. The pulsing light seemed to calm her pain slightly, and her breathing eased. "This is helping. Thank you," she said, watching as he worked with steady hands. Each motion was careful and precise as he continued to study her anatomy, learning how her muscles moved and how her skin responded. The child leaned closer to the human, whispering, "Can we do something else to make her feel better?" The human looked around, spotting small glowing fruits hanging from a nearby alien bush. "These are edible and might have healing properties," he said, picking a few carefully. "Let's try them." The mother watched him curiously, tasting a small piece, and nodded slowly, feeling the warmth spread through her body. A comforting relief from the constant ache. As they rested, a quiet moment passed, filled with gentle light from the glowing plants. The human shared stories of his world, trying to distract the child and mother from the lingering pain. "On my planet we have forests too, but none glow like this," he said, smiling softly. The child giggled, imagining strange forests far away, and for a moment, fear and pain faded into fascination and curiosity. The mother reached out, placing a hand on the human's shoulder. "You have given us more than healing," she said quietly. "You have given hope." The human's heart tightened at her words, realizing that his actions had created a bond far stronger than survival alone. The child looked up at him with trust-filled eyes. "You are like family now," she said softly, hugging him briefly. The forest around them seemed to respond to their calm, glowing brighter as if the plants themselves approved of their courage and unity. The human helped the mother stand, testing her foot carefully. "Try to walk slowly. We take it one step at a time," he instructed, supporting her gently. The child walked beside them, holding on to her mother, each step a small victory over pain and fear. By the time the alien sun dipped lower, painting the sky with strange hues of violet and green, the mother's foot felt more stable and her breathing steadied. "I think we can keep moving tomorrow," she said. Relief evident in her tone, the child clapped softly, thrilled to see her mother recover even a little, and the human smiled, feeling the quiet satisfaction of helping a family in need. And so, as the alien forest pulsed around them with soft light, the human, the mother, and her child continued their journey, learning from one another, healing together, and forming a bond that went beyond species, danger, or distance. In the glowing shadows, hope had begun to grow, stronger than fear, and courage had found its place in the hearts of all three. The alien forest was alive with movement, though the soft glowing plants made it seem calm and peaceful. The mother's foot, now partially healed with the human's help, throbbed slightly, reminding her that danger could strike at any moment. The child clung to her mother, small fingers gripping tightly, her wide eyes scanning the forest for threats. The human led them carefully along a narrow path, one hand supporting the mother, the other lightly brushing branches aside. "We must stay together and move quickly," he whispered, his eyes sharp for any sign of predators. Shadows flickered between the trees, longer and darker than before, and strange noises echoed, reminding them that the forest was never truly safe. Suddenly, a sharp cracking sound came from above, and both the mother and child ducked instinctively. A large branch fell from a towering tree, narrowly missing them. The human glanced up, heart pounding. "This forest is unstable. We have to be careful," he said, moving them faster along the narrow path. The child's small voice trembled. "Are they following us?" she asked, glancing behind nervously. The human shook his head slowly. "I don't know, but we can't take chances." He spotted strange glowing footprints ahead, indicating some predator, or perhaps more than one, was tracking them. "Stay close, he instructed. Gripping the mother's arm firmly, she nodded, placing one careful step after another, trusting him to guide them through the alien terrain. As they moved, a shadow burst from the trees, a predator larger than any they had seen before. Its glowing eyes locked on the group, claws sharp and ready. The human quickly positioned himself in front of the mother and child, swinging a thick branch to block the first attack. The predator hissed, retreating slightly but circling. "Ready to strike again. Move!" the human shouted, and he guided them toward a narrow creek that cut through the forest. Its water glowed faintly, reflecting the light from the alien plants. The mother's foot struggled with each step, but the human helped her balance. The child clutched at her mother, stepping carefully, her small feet splashing softly in the water. The predator lunged again, and the human shouted, swinging the branch, deflecting the claws. But he knew they couldn't fight forever. They needed to escape. A plan formed in his mind, using the glowing water and thick reeds to confuse the predator. He pointed, "Into the reeds. Quickly, hide and move quietly." The mother nodded, guiding the child through the thick, glowing reeds, their bodies low, silent, and cautious. The predator prowled at the edge of the reeds, sniffing and watching. But the human's quick thinking kept them concealed. Each step was tense, and every sound of snapping branch made their hearts race. The child whispered softly, "Mom, I'm scared," her voice barely audible. The mother leaned down, whispering back, "I know, but we have each other, and the human is with us." They moved slowly but steadily through the maze of reeds and glowing plants, each step bringing them farther from the immediate threat. The human scanned constantly, ready to intervene. The forest seemed to close in around them, but they pressed forward, using every skill they had learned in the past days to stay safe. Finally, they reached a small clearing, hidden behind a cluster of glowing trees. The predator hesitated at the edge, unable to reach them quickly. The human helped the mother sit, checking her foot. "You are stronger than I thought." "We made it for now," he said, trying to reassure them. The child ran to her mother, hugging her tightly. "We're safe. For now," she whispered, a mixture of relief and lingering fear in her voice. The mother looked at the human, eyes soft but filled with gratitude. "You risked yourself for us again," she said quietly. "I can never repay you." The human shook his head, smiling faintly. "We help each other. That is what matters," he said, glancing at the child, whose trust and admiration for him had grown stronger with each danger they faced. As the alien sun dipped lower, casting long shadows across the forest, the three of them rested briefly, catching their breath. The child pointed to a faint glowing path ahead. "Maybe we can find a safe place there," she suggested. Hope shining through her fear, the human nodded. "Yes, one step at a time," he said, helping the mother to her feet again, supporting her carefully, with the predator still lurking somewhere in the shadows. They moved slowly but steadily, hearts pounding, muscles tense, and every step a careful decision. Yet even in the danger, a bond stronger than fear had formed between them. Courage and trust guiding them forward. The forest was still alive with unknown threats, but together the human, the alien mother, and her child pressed on, determined to reach safety, and so, with danger behind and hope ahead, they continued their journey, each step a testament to bravery, unity, and the power of compassion. Even in the darkest forests and the most savage traps, courage and care could light a path through the shadows, guiding them toward safety and a brighter tomorrow. The alien sun cast a soft violet glow across the forest as the human, the mother, and the child finally reached a quiet clearing. The trees arched above them, their glowing leaves creating a natural canopy that felt safe. The mother carefully tested her foot, now stronger after the human's careful support and the healing plants. "I think I can walk without help now," she said softly, relief and pride shining in her eyes. The child ran to her mother, hugging her tightly. "Mom, you are strong now," she exclaimed, her tiny voice bubbling with joy. The mother laughed softly, brushing her child's glowing hair. "We are strong, thanks to our friend here," she said, looking at the human, gratitude and warmth filling her voice. The human smiled, feeling a sense of peace and satisfaction he had not felt before. They settled in the clearing, the soft moss cushioning their tired bodies. The human examined the surroundings carefully, noting possible dangers, but for the first time, the forest seemed calmer, almost welcoming. "We need to rest and plan the next step," he said, speaking gently to both mother and child. The child sat beside her mother, holding her hand tightly, her eyes scanning the glowing forest with curiosity instead of fear. The mother leaned closer to the human, her voice quiet but firm. "You have given us more than protection. You have given hope," she said, her silver blue skin reflecting the alien light. The child nodded. "Yes, we trust you completely now," she added, her small hand reaching for his. The human looked at them both, feeling an unexpected bond that went beyond words, species, or fear. As night fell, the glowing plants lit up around them, casting a soft, magical light. The human, the mother, and the child shared stories of their lives, teaching each other about their worlds, cultures, and dreams. Laughter and soft conversation filled the clearing, replacing the fear that had gripped them in the forest. Each story, each shared moment deepened the connection, creating a bridge between human and alien hearts. The child showed the human a glowing flower, pointing to its tiny patterns. "On my planet, flowers like this mean friendship," she explained, her eyes shining. The human took it carefully, smiling. "Then this is a friendship flower, for all of us," he said, holding it between them. The mother placed a gentle hand on the child's shoulder, nodding in agreement. "A bond that cannot be broken by fear or danger," she said softly. The forest around them was alive but no longer threatening. Shadows moved gently with the wind and glowing insects hovered calmly. Their presence seemed to echo the newfound peace and unity of the trio. The human looked at the mother, then at the child. "You have both taught me courage and trust," he said sincerely. "And I promise to always protect you," the mother smiled, tears welling in her eyes. "And we promise to face the future together, no matter what comes." The child hugged both her mother and the human, forming a small circle of warmth. "Together forever," she whispered, and they all nodded, understanding the depth of her words. In that quiet clearing, danger felt far away, and the forest became a place of healing, connection and hope each glowing plant. Each soft rustle of leaves reminded them that even in strange and dangerous worlds, kindness and courage could create light in the darkness. The mother slowly stood, testing her foot one more time, each movement stronger than before. "I can walk freely now," she said proudly, looking at the human. "Your care has healed me more than I could imagine." The child ran ahead, exploring the safe clearing, then returned to her mother and the human, sharing small discoveries and laughter. The human laughed softly as well, feeling a lightness he had not known since entering the forest. As the alien sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky with colors unknown to humans, the three of them sat together, leaning against a tree, sharing warmth, stories, and silent promises. The human realized that their journey had been more than survival. It had been about forming trust, bridging worlds, and creating bonds stronger than any fear or trap. "We are family now," he whispered, his voice soft but firm. The mother and child nodded, their faces glowing with gratitude, love and hope in the glowing alien forest, under the protective canopy of luminous leaves. Danger no longer seemed to matter. The human, the mother, and her child had faced fear, pain, and uncertainty together, and had come out stronger, united and hopeful. Their journey had forged a bond that transcended species, teaching them that courage, compassion, and trust could light the darkest places. And as night embraced the forest, the three of them sat together, ready to face the future as one.